get the manpower to do it because it was never really planned. And so the nice thing about that and working for a larger company is that you hardly ever see the same things twice. Sure, you dig a hole, you put rebar in it, you pour concrete in it, that's a little bit repetitive. But also, that comes to an end, right? You might have 6 weeks of foundation work, you might have 6 months of foundation work, but eventually, the next trade is going to come in. And then your skill set, and what you're doing on a day-to-day, will change slightly. So, all that said, all those things on that list, not too many hands were raised about how, have you had experience doing it. So, we don't expect you guys to have a lot of experience coming onto a construction project. So, one thing that we do offer our full-time employees is this apprenticeship program. So, juniors, raise your hand again, juniors. Say construction really interests you, and you're like, man, I really want to investigate this a little bit more. A couple of months at the end of May, when you graduate your junior year, we can sit down and have a conversation about you starting as soon as you graduate. That conversation would have to start probably now, but if you would want to do that, you could work as a paid co-op the whole summer, 40 hours a week until you start back for your senior year. Start your senior year, we would work with the school and say, okay, can Billy Bob get out of school at 10 a.m. and still graduate, because we'd like to have him work for Messer from 11 a.m. until 4 o'clock every single day. So work out that so where you're finishing your education, but then also you're getting the skill set, the experience, and on-the-job training for a career in construction. In conjunction with that, you would have an opportunity to go into the first year of our in-house apprenticeship program. One of the unique things about Messer Construction is that it has its own apprenticeship program. It is a non-union company. For those of you guys that are closer to construction, you may know what that means. Basically just means for us, we don't have an overarching union or trade or entity that really kind of tells us what to do. You start to have that when you get into the carpenters union or the pipe fitters union, the electrical union. It's not bad, it's just different. So we elected to go non-union, separate ourselves from the union. And we're kind of a standalone, we kind of run our own program. It's still approved by the Department of Labor. We know what we're doing, but it's just a different way of learning. And so programs are very similar, but kind of different. So that opportunity may present itself. And then again, go through your senior year. If it's a good fit for employee, that's a project about 45 minutes north of here for Eli Lilly. When that project's done and turned over, they're going to manufacture drugs out of that facility. So if you guys get a prescription from CVS or Walgreens or something, there's a chance that they may have come out of there, that they're going to be sending their prescription drugs throughout the whole world, really. And so to be a part of something like that was pretty cool. It's about 5,600 cubic yards of concrete. I don't even know the number of trucks, I should know that. But we spent, with just labor and concrete and everything, we spent about $2 million in about 12 hours. So it's a good click on spending money there. But like I said, we're a commercial construction company. We're spread out. I'll just kind of show you where we're at. But we're a construction manager, general contractor, but then we also have our own self-performance team. And so your construction managers, those are folks, those are companies that manage the construction process. And so I use the example, if we were to do a project for Greenwood Community Schools, they would hire us to do the project. We would be the point of contact. We would have the contract and all that stuff with Greenwood, but then we would also hire subcontractors to do the work. That's a true construction manager. As a general contractor, construction manager with the self-performance division, we subcontract 80 to 85% of our work, and then we do it ourselves 15 to 20% of that work. It really depends on the type of project, but not a lot of companies of our size are equipped to do that. So we have about 1,400 employees, about 550 or so skilled tradesmen and tradeswomen. So that is heavy equipment operators, carpenters, laborers. I'll go into that a little bit more, but we are able to drive schedule, drive safety, and sort of push our projects to the end if you're out there on a job wearing the green hard hat. So if you guys saw that video, everybody in the green hard hat is a Messer Construction employee putting that work in place. So I just kind of give you a little bit of a look. That's where we work. We have an office here in Indianapolis in Marion County, and we do work all the way up from Ball State, Lafayette, down to Bloomington, over to Greencastle, DePaul University. So, you know, pick Indianapolis, draw about a 50-mile circle, and that's kind of where we try to stay within. And again, we were talking about first or second period going and building Walmarts. I said I would quit if I had to go build Walmarts. That's not what we do. We do a little bit more complex construction. We work for, these are not all the folks that we work for, but Butler University, you guys can see that model getting passed around. We do work for Eli Lilly, Indiana University, Cummins, Coban Solutions, which is now LabCorp. Again, so the market segments that we're at, aviation, federal military, healthcare, higher education, industrial, science, and technology. So we build buildings. We don't go out and we don't reroute, you know, I-65, do bridges and stuff like that. That's not what we do. There's contractors that specialize in that kind of thing. We don't specialize in that. We build buildings. We may have a road portion, like part of our project, maybe going and we may have to reroute a road or something like that because now the building's in the way, or, you know, it's an office facility, there may need to be parking spaces and things like that. We'll do those kinds of things, but not like the heavy highway, civil type of construction. So a few things that we do from a self-performance perspective. Like I said, heavy equipment, site layout, carpentry, concrete work. A little bit about me. So I guess from a pretty young age, I knew that I wanted to be something in the lines of the construction industry. When I graduated high school, I left off for college and I wanted to be a civil engineer. I wanted to design bridges. I thought they were really cool. I soon found out within the first couple of months that I am not smart enough to do this. I better pick a different career. So that's when I went into construction management. Graduated from Ohio State. I know Mr. Figge is a big Buckeye, but graduated from Ohio State 2006. Started with Messer Construction in 2007, and I've really been trying to navigate my career since then. So, still with the company, been with the company for 18 years. Started off in what we call operations, and so I was doing layout engineer for a concrete frame, was one of my first jobs, and then just made my way to be a project manager. And then about 8 years ago, stepped into this self-performance role, and now I help drive results of our self-performance division. So One thing that we'll talk about are the opportunities. We can offer anybody a job. That's simple. If that's what you want, that's great. You can get a job. It might last 6 months, it might last 2 years. But if you think about it like that, it's not going to last very long. You may jump from field to field to field, or from company to company to company. One thing that we want to offer young men and young women is a career. And that's what I did. I've been with the company for 18 years, and really, unless they run me out, have no interest in jumping ship and working for another company. But that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about, is a career in the skilled trades or in the construction industry. So, how many of you guys have done any of this stuff? Raise your hand. What have you done up here?
Job shadowed my neighbor working for very construction.
Okay.
As a contractor.
Okay. Like an actual finisher for me?
He was a project manager, so kind of like everything.
Cool. Cool. That's fun. So you got to dabble into a little bit. Got to see what it was like on maybe a job site. Anybody else? Michael, right?
Yes, from what's in here, I'm assistant with floor systems and drywall installation finishing outside of this class.
Okay. I was here a couple of weeks ago, and Mr. Figgy did show me his drywall project. I think that's pretty cool. What do you guys think about finishing drywall? Have you guys done it in here?
We did a little mini wall type thing for these guys. This started this year, so they have not done that.
Okay. Man, oh man, it is one of the most aggravating things. That if I have to finish drywall, I cringe. But that's beside the point. But I mean, we've got guys that are really good at finishing drywall. But also, when I talked about 80% of our work is subcontracted, 20% of our work is what we do. There are companies out there that do metal framing, drywall finishing, ceiling hanging, acoustical ceilings, all of that. That's all they do. They go from job to job to job, and that's a complete skill set. We don't do that. It's a good thing. We need them. We need them on our projects, because every project, I guarantee you, has a metal stud or has some sort of drywall component to it. So we live in that world that we have to, but a lot of our carpenters are doing the things under the carpentry system, doors, door hardware, cabinets, finishes, rough carpentry, so like in-wall blocking. There's a lot of things in these walls, not necessarily a masonry wall, but in a drywall partition, there's a lot of stuff in there that you guys would never even think, never even see, never even think about. How's the water get to the toilet? When you flush the toilet, where does it go? How do when I plug my laptop or my phone charger into this outlet, how does it charge? All that stuff is just kind of hidden behind the walls. And that's the things that I like to see. It's the guts of a building, how it comes together and how it functions. Things that people really don't even think about. Michael mentioned floor systems. And then we get into the concrete side of things. We do vertical concrete, we do flat concrete, a lot of that type of stuff. And so as a carpenter or even a laborer or heavy equipment operator working for a general contractor, you're going to see a lot of different things on a lot of different projects. You're not going and just putting up metal studs and hanging drywall. I would assume if you do that for a living, that's great, that would get to be a little bit monotonous, because you're hanging drywall here, you're hanging drywall, it's always the same repetitive motion. With being a general contractor, we have to fill a lot of gaps. And so maybe the project manager didn't buy something, and it is more cost effective to have our guys do that particular scope. We got to figure out how to do it. Complex commercial construction. What does that mean to you? Complex commercial construction. Wide variety of buildings. The thing that we don't do is we don't do gas stations, We don't do Walmarts or Starbucks. We also, may stay away from huge stadiums like Lucas Oil Stadium. So what we do, I've got an example of a project. I want you guys to kind of pass around. That's the Lacey School of Business on Butler University's campus. That project took about 16 months to build, was a $70 million project, still standing to this day. We completed it in like 2017, something like that. So that's a really unique building. That's a two-scale model, a lot of different angles, elevations, something like that. May not look complicated, but it's pretty darn complicated with the various ways that things kind of come together. So that's kind of what we do. I will also do a really quick video. It's about a 2-minute video of one of the coolest things that we've done over the last 2 years. So we'll get into that, and then we'll start talking a little bit more. That was a LP2 MAP Foundation 4 is what we call that project.
Things on here, and it's going to be updated. I think it showed $1.4 billion worth of revenue. I think now it's $2 billion. Okay, so the company is growing and expanding. I think now they got a new market in South Carolina. So, and you'll see it's sort of right here based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and just kind of expands out. And he's going to do most of the talking. I'm going to do most of the listening. Every now and then I'll ask a question that I think he should key in on for you guys. But other than that, if this is your time, really to ask questions about a company for possible internship if you're a junior, or direct hire and apprenticeship if you're a senior. But when you graduate, you got to do something. And this, take in all the information you can and then make your decision. Some of you will go to college, that's okay. Some of you don't want. Maybe you go to a trade union, that's okay. Some of you just want to direct hire in. This is a choice. Mark, how are you?
Thank you, Mr. Figge. All right, so help me understand the dynamic of the classroom. How many juniors do we have? Okay, so the rest of you guys, seniors then? Seniors? All right, so I'll speak to the seniors. Who knows what they're doing? You guys are graduating in like 3 months. Who knows what you're doing? What are you doing?
Either going into the end of or
planning on the Volstead master get my major sanitation.
Okay, cool. You'll draw one of the buildings every day. Who else?
I was planning on going to
Okay. IU Bloomington in marketing.
plan on going to a trade school to further my carpentry skills.
Okay. I might have something for you, young man. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael? Okay. Who else? Anybody else? Anybody? No. What are you doing?
HVAC.
HVAC? Okay, that's cool. All right, so it's good. I mean, there was what, second period class only had one person that they actually knew what they were doing. I'm like, you guys got to figure this out. It may not be the right thing, but at least do something. So, again, Mr. Figgy, thank you for the time. The only thing that I ask you guys, I'm not going to sit here and talk to you, lecture to you for that long. It'll take 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. I just need your guys' attention, okay? So, Mr. Figgy alluded to it. I work for Messer Construction Company. We are a complex commercial construction company. Construction, I mean, it's this big. It's huge. You've got civil construction. You've got residential construction. You've got commercial construction. Complex commercial construction. There's a lot of different things that can be done if you're in the construction industry. So I ask people, when you guys hear, we'll offer you a full-time job, you graduate on Friday, you start Monday as a full-time employee, making about 23 bucks an hour to start. So that's kind of the path for you juniors. Seniors? Okay, so if I have sold you, if I have done my job effectively and convinced you to look further into Messer Construction, you could apply and essentially start right after you graduate. There's some prerequisite work and stuff, 2 or 3 some safety trainings and stuff like that we would need to do before you would step foot on a project. But that would be kind of the path for a senior, would just be to boom, start full-time as soon as you graduate. You would get a couple of months of work under your belt, and then you would go straight into the apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program, for us, it's ran September to May, and it's every Monday night. So it's going to be 2 to 3 hours, Monday, it's after work. You got to work a little bit early, but you're working Monday through Friday and attending your apprenticeship courses only one time a week for, 9 months, 8, 9 months out of the year. So that's kind of what our apprenticeship program looks like. We're not going to be able to teach you everything with an instructor in front of a room and you guys reading material. That's not what our apprenticeship program is. The majority of what you're going to learn is on the job. It's on the job training, getting with a mentor, learning from him or her how to navigate a construction project and how to navigate a skilled trades career. We help facilitate it and organize it, but it's not all classroom work either. It's not just lectures for 3 hours and then you go home. You guys might learn about a particular subject one Monday, and then the following Monday, you may go to a job site and actually put your hands on it. So that's kind of the learning format that we are able to offer young men and young women who have the interest in skilled trades. I told you that I wasn't going to sit here and just talk at you for 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop. I know Figgy passed out questions. I know there's just some burning things that you guys are thinking about because I can see the wheels turning. What kind of questions do we have? Yeah?
Would it just be Mondays that you'd be working, or would it be like Sundays?
No. If I confuse that matter, I apologize. Full-time work, let's start there. Full-time work, this is a Monday through Friday work. It's a Monday through Friday gig, 40 hours at a minimum. We start early. We start 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, to maybe 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, depending upon the job. But that's a full-time position. 40 hours a week. There's honestly, because of our labor market and the need for just people, stuff, you've got your OSHA 30 card, now we're ready to go. Now you can get started. So those are kind of the prerequisites in order to come on board, whether you want to come on board over the summer, whether you want to come on board full-time, you're going to work 10 hours a day, 4 hours a day, it doesn't matter, everybody has the same safety training. All of that's paid for by the company. It does take some time to get through, but we know that, okay, this young man or this young woman, if they do these things, they're committed. So that's kind of our position on it. Good. What months get the most work? What months get the most work? You would think, like summer months, we have a lot of seasonal work, and so when I was saying like your highway and everything, you don't see too much highway work right now in February. You're going to start to see a little bit of movement in March. In April, it's really going to start picking up. May, June, July, and then until about November, December, depending upon the weather, that's when it's its heaviest. We really don't have peak seasons and downturns. It's driven on our projects. A couple of weeks ago, we got like 9 inches of snow, and then it got super cold, where there's like a high of 3. Some of our jobs that we're only working outside, we shut down for 2 days. Because it's just not safe. It's not safe to be out there. Those are bone-chilling temperatures. We don't want to get anybody hurt. It's not productive, so we just canceled the job for the day. They were back up and working as soon as, a couple days later, once the temperature got to like 10. They're like, okay, that's reasonable. But our projects really drive our schedule. To start a project, it's all hands on deck, right? It's got to get started, it's got to get moving, so that way the next wave of trades can come in and do their thing. Digging a foundation, you got to get the foundation forward, because steel is being fabricated in Indianapolis, and come March 1st, it's going to hit the job. So you got to be here by March 1st, because that steel's coming and it's going to follow you, and it's going to chase you on out to the north end of the building or whatever you're doing. So now you can take a little bit of a breather. Now the steel's going up. Now we're following the steel because we need to pour the concrete on the steel. And so it's busy all the time, sometimes just a little bit busier when you're building buildings, because we're not seasonal. You're going to have that seasonal stuff where you are doing like civil work, road work, roofs. Some of it is temperature driven, but a lot of what we do is just, you got to fight through it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they said steel, after steel, a lot of times they're steel pour concrete, but then metal studs, a little bit of what we did down there. There's crews that come in there and they just hammer that. They got it, because they got to get that done so wire can be pulled, and they got to have exterior finishes, interior finishes. So you do work hard, but you're compensated for it. Not only hourly rate, but retirement. I mean, there's benefit package, and I think some of you wrote down benefit package. He'll tell you.
So everybody has this, right? Pay attention to it real quick for me, please. So this side, with the gal with the birth bar and the high-vis green hard hat, that side, that goes into a little bit of detail about the apprenticeship program that we talked about. There's also an articulation agreement that we have with Ivy Tech. If you guys say, you know what, I want to be a project manager, I want to go finish an associate's degree, the credits that you earned through the apprenticeship will go towards that degree. There's also additional leadership programs. We're always training our folks. You go through apprentice, now you're a journeyman. Now, hey, I've figured out my trade. I'm actually pretty darn good at it. I've been doing it for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. I want to start leading people. Construction, it can be complicated, but it's very simple. We're production, we're manufacturing with people. Okay? There may be things that are built or fabricated off-site, but right there, that's a good example of it. Some of these things can't come together in a factory or be shipped in from wherever. They need to be constructed with hands and people's minds. So that's what we do.
And you may be that person for your whole life, and that's okay, because that's what makes you tick. That's what you enjoy. Or you may move up to a management position where you're overseeing, you know, you said you're a project manager, what, $18 million projects? Yeah, and so you got a lot of responsibility to get something done, but he knew how to do that. And a little bit of on-the-job training.
Yeah, yep. So, we were talking about benefits. Flip that thing over. QR code. If you guys do have interest, scanning that QR code actually does take you to our hiring page. Whether you're a junior looking for an internship co-op opportunity, again, if I didn't mention this, these are all paid. So if you hear co-op and cannot pay, with no interest, we're going to pay you. Or even if you're a senior looking for full-time, that QR code will help you navigate. You would want to apply as a laborer for the Indianapolis region. All that is an entry-level position. If you're a junior and you're interested in the internship, put down somewhere in the comments that, hey, I'm a Greenwood High School student. That will kick you over to me, and it will probably start some interactions. But Mr. Figgy mentioned benefits. So who's thinking about retirement in here? I am, for sure. So we do offer some benefits day one for our full-time employees. Retirement benefits is down here towards the bottom. We offer a 10% contribution to, it's a HERP, it's an hourly employee retirement program. So again, if you guys work full-time, let's say you make $23 to start, 10% of that $23 an hour is what? 10% of 23. $2.30. Yep, so we'll take $2.30 of Messer's money and we'll dump it into a retirement fund for you. So you work 8 hours a day. What is that? That's about 18 bucks a day, something like that. But again, you do 2,000 hours, that's about a year. That's going to be what, $4,600? And again, it's going to be 10% of your wage. So say you got a $2 raise, now you're making 25. That was going to be $5,000. You start doing that and extrapolating that, plus your market growth, you can start to build you up a nice little retirement fund before you're 30. Now the other thing is we are an employee-owned company, meaning that we are based, our corporate office is in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have a CEO and a COO, and we have leaders at the top that kind of direct the vision of the company, but I own a portion of the company, a small portion. There's other people in my role and my counterparts and peers and coworkers that own portions of the company. There are people that started 15 years ago as a laborer, entry-level laborer, your all's age, that now have ownership and stock in the company because they've stuck around for a career. So, again, a lot on retirement. There's options. If you say, I want to be this guy right here, there's a good chance that he owns part of the company too. Because once you build up a certain number of dollars in the HERP, the hourly retirement program, remember that's Messer putting that money in there, you can take it and you can move it over to the ESOP and you get a bigger return on your investment. So that's an option to become an employee owner. Or you can start navigating your career and maybe you want to be a foreman and then maybe you want to be a lead foreman / superintendent on a project. we can get you there as well, and you become an employee owner when you become what we call a company foreman. So there's options to basically get bought into the company even while you're still doing your skilled trade. You don't have to go to college and do those kinds of things. You have the opportunity. It's just a different path that some take and some don't.
So about 3 minutes left, so if you want more information and you don't want to go to the site, you want to talk to Mark, he's got a business card over there, I'm sure he would want to take time to explain some of the ins and outs of it. Now you can see they work for a lot of universities, hospitals, pharmaceuticals, and that's what he means by a complex commercial. And they do a latchkey where they bring it out of the ground and then they hand them the key and they take it over and it's all operational. So I want you to make sure this is an opportunity for juniors and for seniors, and you can direct hire. You won't go to work the next Monday because that's Memorial Day. But Tuesday you'll walk on the job site. And OSHA 30 is a card you get, and once you've done it, it's your card. You've gone through the training, and you go, when you have a company, I wouldn't say that you want to leave, Spencer, but you have that card. And this, the nice thing about this is it's in-house training. So as you're working in the field, you're getting trained. It's like a textbook. Would you want to do that 40 hours a week? Probably not, because you want hands-on. But there's good information. They're training you.
Do the work. Overtime is usually always on the team. So that's full-time. Now, for the juniors, I want to see what this is. Say you have interest and you want to do this in between your junior and senior year, you would work that schedule. You would work Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to 3:30, whatever the job project that you would go on, that's the schedule you would work. Again, we'll work with you. You got family vacations, or I got basketball camp or whatever. We understand. But then, if you were to continue in your senior year, you would have to maybe come here for first, second, third period, and then you're off and you go back to a job and you work 3-4 hours, whatever it is, Monday through Friday. Maybe you need Fridays off because I don't know, whatever, basketball or something like that. So we're very flexible with the co-op schedule. We can accommodate quite a bit. But our full-time carpenters and laborers start in the morning and then work into the afternoon, and then you're done for the day and you come back and do it again. So a few of our projects, maybe we have a shutdown or we have to demo something in an existing facility. We might have to do some off-hours kind of stuff, but it's few and far between. So.
And just like in our shop, we do safety first. One of the greatest requirements is you do an OSHA 30, right? Prior to internship or.
It doesn't matter where. It's me, any of you to set foot and actually do work on our projects. You have to be OSHA 30 certified. Who knows what OSHA is?